Hey, my name's Ethonra, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I know it's been a long time, got a lot to catch up on, and a lot to talk about, but we'll cross those bridges as we get to them. First things I want to point out is I have been making use of the time that I've been given. Speaking of which, let me go and say that before I forget. I want to thank two people, well, three, kinda. The third one is more of a behind the curtain type of person, but they were still helpful nonetheless, especially lately. But in no particular order, I want to thank my best friend, Eternity of Light, for always supporting me, especially in these troublesome times. Never, and I do mean never, refusing to help me, regardless of what it is I asked of her. So, of course, that's a very big help. Then, of course, there's one of my newer and closer friends, Niche. Niche has also been extremely helpful. To not tell it too bluntly, I literally would not be playing right now if it was not for Niche. So you all got Niche to thank for that. And then the last one is... yes, I was trying to remember her name without telling her real name, because obviously I'm not going to do that. And the third one I want to thank is Vanilla Star. She, much like Eternia, has also been very supportive. So yeah, thanks to Eternia, Niche, and Vanilla Star, I'm finally well enough to start playing again. But I said all that to say I've been making use of the time I've been given, in the sense that I haven't just been sitting here doing nothing. I'm so far behind that I don't even have the expert unlocked, and we're about to get patch 5.5, so that should tell you something. But at the same time, I got this bad boy. So what I've been doing is waiting for a chance to feel good enough to stream after I took care of this. That's finally done. Niche has helped me out to come back. Eternia and Vanilla Star have been supporting me the entire time, so finally I'm feeling well enough to hop back into this amazing game. So
well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat. Not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Welcome back, everyone!
Lise!
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lise Hext. former scion, and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the First. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it. Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak, and it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? Alright, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne. The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble. The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald, and we shall be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Oh, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you use to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting. I knew you'd say yes.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
We shall be on our way then. Godspeed.
Yeah, that's very true. I see Taru's in one of her many outfits again. Looks like she might have been working with Garland, but there's no emblem. Well, that's awfully nice of her. Not at all surprising, though. She is incredibly talented and has an outfit for literally everything. Yeah, it can be pretty bothersome getting around this place. It's funny she mentions Thornton, by the way. I was thinking about him earlier today, how he's one of my favorite fights in the whole game. Just to be sure. Yeah, this is one of the boring ones that don't change as you progress it. Also, for the sake of aesthetic, this is what the mana cutter is, for those who don't know. Cool thing about this one is that it constantly floats even when you're not technically flying. This is still considered grounded, but it does transform when you actually fly, just a little bit. Every time I use this or see one, I can't help but think of the Airy and the Void Arc. But yeah, this is why this place is such a nightmare to get around, especially if you're farming Fates, because the only warp point, well, that's not technically true, but the only Aetheryte is over here. But there are certain consoles that allow you to warp around. But it's not as convenient. Not as convenient as simply warping to the Aetheryte as if there was more than one. But, Oh, and don't worry, I didn't forget about those 2 videos I posted. I'll explain them probably soon. I'm just waiting for something exciting to happen. And if it doesn't, then I'll start talking about it. I think it'd be funny if, yeah, too bad. I was it'd been funny if the mana cutters were actually painted pink because of Tataru. Yeah, see? Well, the last time we had a contest, she actually won, surprisingly. It was still funny how it went down, though. I guess another issue I should bring up is the stressful miniature panic attack I had the other night dealing with this phone. Let's see. Yeah, and of course layouts like this definitely don't help. So what happened with my phone is randomly, while I was playing DFFOO, my phone turned itself off and then went into safety mode, which is never done before, to the point where I wasn't even sure what it was. But it made it so that I couldn't access any of my apps. No Discord, Messenger, nothing. That is obviously a problem, because I have been relying on things like Discord and Messenger for, I kid you not, over a decade, simply because I don't have the excess money to get a contract, or even straight talk for that matter. Especially ever since my dad became sick, but that's a different issue for a different day. Yeah, of course it'd be you. I remember. that's an excellent example of why I kind of feel bad for people that use skip potions and just beeline through the story or skip cutscenes, God forbid, because you really miss out. Now, if you've already done the story before and you have an alt, then by all means, if you have the money and you don't mind, then sure, skip. But you really do miss out on some of the great small things. Like, people who don't know what that conversation about would just think, okay, whatever. But for those of you who know, you know. You know why that was a great moment. Oh, how about that? I actually won this time. Oh, that sounds like a dungeon. Sorry about that black box, by the way. I forgot to turn those off. Matter of fact, I think I'll try to take care of that, but let's get through this first. Wild Rose would be interesting, and I'm half tempted to try it, but I'm not sure what Courage is from. That just seems kind of generic, but Wild Rose, I'll try that one. Oh yes, I gotta turn that off too. That one I can at least handle without, you know, risking the entire stream closing down. Also, I just remembered something else I've been meaning to do. Something else I've been, make sure I got that right. Something else I've been meaning to do is make a, oh right. I saw these and I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, one of them isn't mine. So that should do it. Is talk about Destiny 2 and give actual good advice for the Iron Banner as opposed to the meme joke video. And I just remembered the Iron Banner is out today, so that's something else I'm gonna have to worry about. So, as I was saying, I haven't had actual minutes and data in over a decade, so I rely on those free apps, and I was completely stuck because there was literally nothing I could do. As a matter of fact, every time I tried to open Google to Google a solution, it would close the Google app, so I was literally stuck. But thankfully, I remembered my little sister gave me this gaming laptop that I don't use for gaming because I'm a console player, but she gave it to me nevertheless, and I do use it for Google like now, so thankfully I remembered that. And then I Googled a solution, and the solution was actually very easy, kind of. I tried it twice and it didn't work, so then I tried it kind of a different way and that worked. And then later on I had to update Google Chrome and the Android itself, and that seemed to have fixed it. Matter of fact, I even updated Discord. I didn't think Discord would actually ever change again, but anyway, so thankfully I was able to solve that, but it took me till almost 4 o'clock in the morning before I finally found an answer. I would love to hear Tataru say Bonanza in actual audio. I think that'd be kind of funny. Oh boy. Yeah, it's like I remember that name from somewhere. Complete side note, I didn't even notice this until I saw that view right there. All three of us had ponytails. Alice, Tia, and Zio. I forgot that she also calls him Raha. Yeah, no thanks to you. Yeah, this should be, hopefully, a really good reunion. As opposed to, oh, I don't know, Luke, Chewie, and Leia. Oh, of course, C-3PO and R2-D2. Can't forget them. Yeah, the Tycoon can vouch for that. I love that little Shadowbringers remix. But I can say that comfortably and not feel like a total hypocrite. Why, you ask? I'll explain in a minute. Again. I honestly thought the past would be rebellion. It's kind of why I picked Wild Rose, by the way. That's interesting. Amon, a bastard to the very end. Both of these seem correct. I'm just curious which one is the more interesting answer. I'll pick that one. There you go. So many people to talk to. And a node. Okay, not really. Yeah, indeed. Yep. Okay, cool. I thought I had to go to both. Right. Okay, so when I said the hypocrisy thing, I've said this before, but I literally cannot help but think about it every single time I think of the Shadowbringers thing, because in Heaven's Ward, well, kind of Heaven's Ward, but it was more directed at Storm Blood. I almost said Blood of Storm. For some reason, I always want to say the name of that expansion wrong. Anyway, in that expansion, the song Triumph, which was the hypest dungeon boss theme up to that point, still kind of is almost a dead weight tie between that one and the Shadowbringers one for me. But, let's see. I guess for the sake of time, I'll just jog there. Oh, I remember this kid. I don't think he's related to the mission, though, so I'm gonna have to ignore him for now. But anyway, Stormblood got a lot of hate because Stormblood, though I loved it, just like I loved all the story of this game, not just when it got good. It was always good. Y'all just weren't paying attention. But yeah, it was always good. Y'all just weren't paying attention. But Triumph allegedly played too much. It was too common of a song. Yet Shadowbringers comes around and everyone, and I mean everyone, loves it to death. So much so, and not a lot of people know this or even bother mentioning it, so much so that the developers actually went back and changed some of the dungeon boss themes to what it is now. They weren't always that way. Like, give you a close example. Satasha Niche, you saw what happened in that video. You were there. You remember that dungeon. The music there, I call it a waltz because it makes me think of, like, battle dancing. when you fight the captain twice. Well, that was played in some of the Shadowbringers dungeons, but then it was changed to what it is now. And the same can be said about various other themes we've had in the past, save for Triumph. The generic dungeon themes would be replaced with the new Shadowbringers theme. So the developers themselves changed the theme to be more prominent than Triumph, and no one's complaining about it. But they did for Triumph, for playing too much. Even though Shadowbringers did it 10 times over, no complaints at all. Just saying, funny how hypocritical people can be at times. More to the point, so I actually said that one first. I should say the other one. 2 videos I posted lately. One is what happened in Satasha, and the other one happened in the Great Gabal Library. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And I always have a hard time kind of getting around here because usually I teleport, so these parts right here kind of throw me off sometimes. So anyway, yeah, see what I mean? We'll just warp there so I don't waste any more time. Matter of fact, I'll hold on to that story because I could probably tell you both by the time I actually find where I'm trying to go. But I'll wait a little bit. But the first one I'll tell you about is the Satasha run and the reasons why my pulls fluctuate. I have absolute confidence in myself now as a gunbreaker to handle pretty much any dungeon. I wasn't as confident originally because I relied on Paladin so much, because Paladin is literally the best tank in the game. Keyword I use there is tank. Just because Warrior does more damage does not mean it is a better tank, but again, we'll get into that later. Hey, well.
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places.
Way with words as always.
As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find. I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed. Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it. In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
Yeah, Emmerich gets it. You heard that enthusiasm in his voice? He understands the gravity of this. nowhere to be seen. I love how Lalafels have like 2 different walks. I think all the other races do, but it seems the most pronounced with Lalafels. You can tell that was a special walk animation. We normally don't get that. Like in game, moving around, we don't get that one. I would say it looks like she's sleeping. Or tired.
Oh, who would have thought cerulean weighed so much?
Oh, you had to carry it? You poor thing.
Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Yeah, really. That almost made me choke on my water.
Good work,
That
you
was
two.
funny.
This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it.
Is Sid's voice different?
Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
It's definitely different.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
Nero.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering.
Of course you don't. Why would you?
But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
I love how Nero still hasn't let it go. I love it. It's literally
For all
part of
the
his
effort
character.
it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel not only across dimensions, but through time.
Now that's concerning.
Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Oh, I love how they also swing at each other.
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto. Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin.
It's gonna take a while for me to get used to Sid's new voice. They might have changed it earlier and I just didn't register, or I mentioned it to myself, I don't know. But compared to, say, everyone's favorite roulette, the main story quest roulette, his voice is completely different.
All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
But yeah, the reason why... Hold on, they're about to talk again. Hey, I'm sitting by Alice. That's fitting. And yeah, we're all kind of falling asleep.
Damn it. It's overloading.
Chief! She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh!
It's not worth getting blown up over.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
Nero, of course, doesn't care. That's so great.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you. There! I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
Nah, that was too easy.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
So yeah, the reason why the Alice thing made me laugh is because it wasn't meant to be disrespectful, but it felt like it was, which made it funny. When she basically said, you know, I should have just did what you did so I wouldn't have to carry all that crap. It didn't even give me an answer. It didn't give me the option to be like sassy or anything. Zio just was like, nods his head and then walks away immediately. That just tickled me. Like, yeah, of course, you should have. Bye. Not even that, just, then walks away. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Only one thing on her mind. Is it waffles? Because as soon as that popped up, that was the first thing I went to. I was like, that is a waffle. Okay, so even if this works and we cure him of his temperament, he's still going to come back and realize both his parents are dead. They were murdered quite brutally in front of him. So, I mean, it's better than being enslaved to a false god, I suppose, but he still has a long road ahead of him. And besides, as has been sprinkled out through the story ever since then, the beast tribes, specifically the good ones, when we learn there's a good side and a bad side, obviously the good ones are trying to make peace with their city-state counterparts. So, bare minimum, the Maelstrom will help take care of them, and of course the fellow good kobolds. But as I was saying, this is completely unbiased, despite the fact that I mained Paladin even when it literally sucked back in A Realm Reborn. This is completely unbiased, but Paladin is the best tank. You can't convince me otherwise because it's the most versatile. Again, doing damage, awesome. What's the point of doing all that damage if you can't protect anyone? What's the point of doing all that damage if you can't defend yourself? Paladins can deal a lot of damage thanks to their magic attacks, especially when they're buffed. But more to the point, they have the best survivability, because what is a tank? In terms of RPGs, MMORPGs, a tank takes damage. That's it. You can do some damage, you might even be able to heal, but your main thing is taking damage. And no tank in this game excels better at that than Paladin. It grieves me to my soul, and it's funny I say that because Niche knows. I think, might have watched the entire video, even though I told him he didn't have to do that. But bare minimum, he saw what I had to put up with when I'm dealing with a bad Paladin. But it grieves me to my soul when Paladins don't use their two best abilities, which is Clemency and Hallowed Ground. I would like it if they threw out a Divine Veil and Sheltron every once in a while, but those are three, I guess if you count that one as well. Divine Veil, Hallowed Ground, and Clemency. And then of course there's Passage of Arms, but you'll get Clemency before you get most of those other things. Clemency is the staple, because you can do so much with that. And let's not forget cover. You're almost never, even I almost never use cover. Not because I don't forget that it's there, but the opportunity to use it doesn't present itself as much as you think it does. So I just don't. I'll just straight up use Divine Veil, or I'll just heal up whoever I ordinarily would have covered, unless it's from a blow that would ordinarily kill them. Like, real quick before I press this button, a great example of that is in the Lighthouse raid against Construct number 7, I believe that thing is called. It has this move where it will reduce your health to, I think the highest it'll be is like, I don't want to say 10. I don't think, no, I take that back. I think it can go to 10. Whatever. The point is, it will reduce your health to double-digit numbers. And you have to solve its math problems in order to get a buff. If you get it wrong, you get debuffed, to the point where if you get 1, definitely 2, and you're not a DP and you're not a tank, chances are you're going to die when he attacks you. Well, something I discovered as a paladin is you can actually cover someone. You preferably want to do this to your healers if they fail, or your summoners or red mages, because they can res, so they'll also be useful to keep them up. But all you have to do, and you might want to buff yourself too, because it's gonna sting. Even if you get yours right, it might hurt a bit, so you should buff yourself as well. But what you want to do is buff yourself, Sentinel, it should be more than enough. Then try to time it to where you can be sure that your cover lasts long enough for them to be protected by it before the blast goes off. Your cover will actually eat the attack, so even if they have 4 stacks of computation error, it will not kill them. You will take all the damage from that, which is why I told you should be at full health. Use your Clemency to help you get to full health, as well as buff yourself. Warrior can't do that. Dark Knight kinda can do that. I'm not sure how strong Blackest Night can absorb that. Gunbreaker definitely can't. Brutal Shell is just not enough. So again, best tank. Alright, let's see how this goes. Moreover, the fallout, or I say fallout, but that implies something bad. I'm just saying, I want to see if they'll bring in the what are we going to do with them now? Because,
Apologies for the wait. Gabu, have you been good?
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.
Fancy meeting you here.
Alphino Y'shtola! I thought you were attending to primal matters.
We were, and came here for a meeting on the subject. Certain pirate factions did not deign to attend, however, and it was cancelled.
We had resigned ourselves to having wasted a journey when we chanced to espy you. Could it be that there has been progress with the treatment? Using Magitech terminals to formulate the solution. I would never have contemplated such an approach.
So this new magic, adapted from memory transference, would be used to purge the subject of their fanatical faith, while Angelo would be responsible for reanimating the ether of their soul. Yet I wonder at the practicalities. If one were to reanimate the soul first, it would only serve to exacerbate the tempering. Conversely, a stagnant soul would not respond to the effects of the magic. Would both need to be performed simultaneously?
Ah, nothing escapes Master Matoya's inquiring eye. As you say, both must be carried out simultaneously. And thus, I propose to imbue Angelo with the tempering treatment in much the same manner as I did the spirit vessels.
By doing so, we also spare Graha the trouble of casting spell after spell. It's really rather efficient.
I do love efficiency.
Be that as it may, certain difficulties are unavoidable. The imbuing process will still require no small amount of ether. And, as I can no longer draw upon the Crystal Tower's stores of energy, I will be compelled to rely on those of others.
Well, I for one would be glad to assist.
As would I. Since the resumption of our duties, it has been naught but stuffy meetings, and I have ample ether to spare.
Excellent. With your permission then, let us begin. Yes, this will do. And now, it's my turn. Tis done.
No small amount indeed.
Well, we seek to go where even the Allagans did not. It was never like to be easy. The rest is up to you, Alize. The treatment itself will take time and focus, so we will need a quiet room. I'm sure our hosts can spare one. I will go with her. It may be a while before we return, so I would ask for your patience and your faith.
You need not even ask.
We'll bring Gabu back. You see if we don't.
'Twould seem our part is played. Let us find a place to recuperate while we wait for news.
Well, I know a good bar.
For years, Eorzea has labored to find a solution to the primal problem, without success. Any hope that tempering could be reversed faded long ago. I myself had given it up as impossible. Given up on the tempered and the light-corrupted alike. They were problems to be tolerated, or else eliminated, I believed. And to think otherwise was pure naivety. Childishness, even. But Alisaie refused to give up. She struggled and she struggled. And her efforts were rewarded with a way to bring back Halric. And now countless others may no longer be beyond salvation. However much we bicker, I have the greatest respect for my sister. Had I half her stubbornness, nay, her unwillingness to accept the status quo, I would be a far better person. A far better scion.
These are both really, really good. I'm pretty sure, see, real quick, when these come up, I like to try to think realistically how the conversation would go. This one should be obvious. He should just tell her that anyway. This one, Alisaie herself would actually probably not do unless it was something incredibly significant. So I think I'm going to pick this one.
She told you of my graduation thesis. How very embarrassing. Nonetheless, it is comforting and not a little surprising to hear that I'm still capable of impressing my sister. On the rare occasions I'm not annoying her, that is. Alisaie, are you all right?
The treatment. Did it work?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you all. Delighted, happy, glad.
It's Tiny Tim.
Gaboo!
I love how much they're letting Zio cross his arms, because that's not the standard Lalafell cross. The standard one actually looks much worse.
All this time, my mind was filled with thoughts of Great Father Titan.
He legit sounds like Tiny Tim.
But I never forgot about Mother and Father. Always, they were in my heart. Constantly, ever, always. so I tried to focus on their faces. Theirs and yours, Alize's and everyone's. And I found that I could remember one thing, then another, and another.
I cannot get over this.
Your hopes reached Gaboo. They helped him to hold on.
I'm so proud of you, Gaboo.
I couldn't have done it without you, Alize. Can you help the others too? Cure them, heal them, help them?
Yes, we can. All of them.
Without wishing to dampen the mood, I feel compelled to add certain caveats regarding the viability of the treatment for general use. As you know, reversing the effects of tempering demands a profuse amount of ether. And while Alize was able to heal Gaboo alone, I fear the same will not be true for those who exhibit more advanced symptoms.
Naturally.
Moreover, the treatment's effects are limited to the soul. It offers no succor to those whose very flesh has been altered through prolonged exposure to a primal's influence.
I meant to comment on that, but since the conversation is automatic...
All of which is to say that we cannot save everyone.
Maybe we can't, or maybe we can. No one gave us a hope of saving Gaboo, and yet here we are. We must find a way to treat as many as possible.
Then, the next logical step would be to produce a veritable army of Porkses, would it not? Granted, it seemed a simple enough process in the first, but I suspect it will be different here in the source. Not that I am any authority, of course.
Yet there is an authority on familiars to whom we may grudgingly turn. She's stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying. And her name is Master Matoya, the real one.
I have to go now, Gaboo. But the people here will look after you, all right? And I promise to come and visit you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Alize. Thank you.
Okay. I, for one, believe that a good joke should be left well enough alone. Don't run into the ground. As well as the fact that I don't personally enjoy doing repeat performances. That being said, I cannot be the only one. I know I'm late to this. And I've never seen it because I want my reaction to be genuine. But all that said, I cannot be the only one who heard Gaboo's voice and automatically thought of Tiny Tim. He actually sounds like Tiny Tim. I cannot believe how similar they sound. Like, if Tiny Tim was in this game, that would be his voice. I kid you not. He even has a bit of the accent. That's mostly why he reminds me of him. That and the little boy voice. Oh, now that looks like it almost reminds me of Rogger's Reach, but not quite. Interesting. Oh, and there's the sun. I personally don't like Matoya. She kind of irks me. that personality is not, doesn't, I just don't like it. Like, yeah, she helps, seemingly begrudgingly, but nah, that's no excuse. So, I guess this would be a good time to talk about the 2 videos I uploaded. The first one was about why do my pulls fluctuate. Again, I've talked about most of this already, but the reason why I uploaded those videos was to give a face to the name, if you will, so you could physically see what it is I'm trying to convey. The reason why I don't do big pulls all the time, occasionally I do, occasionally I don't, it depends, is because, as I've told many people, and few of them actually have the wisdom to agree with me, and that probably sounds a bit arrogant, but I'm being serious. Everyone, realistically, cannot do big pulls. It's just a matter of fact. Everyone can't do it. Sometimes you'll have new people. Sometimes they will be lagging. Sometimes they'll go emergency AFK and not tell you, and then you pull without them, and you end up getting wiped because the person who went AFK was the healer, or one of the DPS or healer decided to pull, and the tank went AFK. You get what I'm getting at? Everyone cannot do big pulls all the time. It's simple as that. With that in mind, what I try to do is I don't do big pulls, I do reasonable pulls. That's what I tell people. I don't pull big, I pull reasonably. Because a great example to test that is, see the name of that dungeon? Amarat. I didn't even have to look, it dawned on me. Amarat. Where the pulls there are easy except for the very last 2. And ironically enough, the first one of the last 2 is actually the harder pull. I don't know why. I guess because the ads hit harder, like because of what's there. But the first of the very last 2 pulls is actually the harder of the 2. Right? So if my team is already having a hard enough time, what I do, and here's another thing that I do, and a lot of people either don't acknowledge it, or they're wondering, hey, why are you pulling small? I'm not. I'm pulling efficiently. What I do is, if I'm, say for example, you got a group of 10 mobs total, 5 in the front, 5 in the back, but they're really, really tough, and pulling all of them at once could get your team wiped if you're not ready. Say for example, you have a scholar, no disrespect to scholars, but you're meant to prevent damage, not heal it up per se, like a white mage can. So, with benediction, case in point. So if I pull too much and your shields are essentially doing nothing because I'm taking so much damage, and I've used all my cooldowns, I've used Super Bolide, you just can't keep up, so I'm going to die. Funnily enough, I actually saw this dude the other day. This guy right here. That's kind of neat. So, I guess I'll tell this story here while we wait. So, what I would do then is I would split them up. I would attack the first 5, get them to around 30-20% health, then I'll go pull the next group of 5. That way you are technically getting them both at once, but the other one's health is so low they are not as oppressive as they would be if I pulled all 10 and got, you know, they're at full strength and dealing with all of them at once. But of course, if I had a healer and I was playing my paladin especially, then yeah, I could reasonably take on all 10 at full strength. You get what I'm saying? It depends, but people don't want to accept that. But I said all that to say, I find it incredibly disrespectful if you're tanking, and you'll see it when I'm playing. I might accidentally do it, and I really am doing it on accident, where say for example, I'm playing as a healer. This rock right here is the enemy, and this cave entrance right here is an unaggroed enemy. Because I'm playing on controller, and sometimes selecting your targets can be wonky, especially when I'm doing a dot, because those come out instantly, as opposed to something like Malefic. I might be aiming for the rock, or the enemy, and then I'll scroll up to like cast a shield on the tank, and then I'll press a button thinking it'll put me back on the rock enemy, only to actually be over here, and then I press my dot, so I accidentally aggroed something. That's fine. That's understandable. What isn't understandable is if I'm tanking right here, and that frog right there is an enemy, I'm dealing with the enemies right here, and you go over here and aggro this frog, which aggroes 5 other enemies. that's a problem. That's a serious problem because it's disrespectful, and I will not stand for that, as I showed in that video. I'm not justifying might be the wrong word. I think the word I want to use here is defending myself, because that would imply I did something wrong or that I have to defend myself like I'm in a court. I didn't do anything wrong. This is just an explanation, because that's how it should be. In A Realm Reborn, that stuff was rampant, and I did the exact same thing then as I did now, and you know it's not just me, because otherwise it would still be happening. It has died down much, much more than it was back in A Realm Reborn, where it was almost rampant, like everywhere people would do that. It's very rare for that to happen now because people know better. But case in point, Satasha, the literal first dungeon in the game, got wiped, what, twice? No, I got wiped, I think we wiped once. And the DPS who was pulling wiped twice. Once because they screwed us all over, and then again when they did it a second time, and I purposely let them die. And I don't know if the healer did it on purpose or not. And truth be told, honestly, when that happens, I will save the DPS, but I let them get nipped on a bit, let them get nommed on a little bit to kind of teach them a lesson, like, hey, I could let you die here, but I'm not. That kind of thing. But that DPS deserved it. They did. Because what happened was they would, when I noticed it too, because even though I'm a tank, I don't have as much field of vision if I was a ranged DPS or the healer. So I have to pay extra close attention. And so I saw it at first, and I thought, okay, maybe they did that because they wanted the EXP, because they attacked an enemy we didn't have to attack. And the thing that makes that so annoying is if you want to go fast, and you probably don't care about the EXP, then why would you attack an enemy, mob of enemies for that matter, one that spawns more enemies? Why would you attack that if your main goal was to go faster? You literally slowed us down pulling a group we didn't have to pull. So that annoyed me, but I didn't know why exactly they did it, so I didn't say anything. But I was watching them, and I noticed they kept doing it. So I was like, okay, I see what kind of solution, or kind of situation we got here. So inevitably, because they will had no chill, and I guess I will take at least 1% of the blame, because I should have told them, hey, you need to stop that. I didn't, so I'll take some blame for that at least. I should have said something, or maybe I didn't, I just don't remember, but I don't feel like I did. I know I almost did when they pulled and got us killed, and then I said, that's why you let the tank pull, because even though, yes, it's an easy dungeon, you have to remember, we only have, what, level 15 or so abilities? So I don't have Super Bolide, I don't have Aurora, I don't have Heart of Stone, I don't have Nebula. My options are very limited, and the healer himself commented on he only has one heal. That's not true. I think he technically would have two. I don't even remember what our healer was, because I know an Astrologian has two heals. They have, I don't remember the names of them. Benefic, I guess they technically have three heals, but single target heals, I know at that level, an Astrologian at least has two. I think the other one might have been a White Mage. Again, I don't remember. But the point is, even though that's an easy dungeon, if you pull everything and your party does not have the composition to handle it, there's going to be issues. Let me tell you the best speedrunning party. Here it is. It will be a paladin, a white mage, and preferably two black mages. Maybe a black mage and a samurai. The reason why is because a paladin is so self-sufficient that a healer actually can put out more damage, because a paladin can mostly take care of themselves until their clemency gets not healing enough. Nah, that was bad English, but you get what I'm saying. A paladin is very self-sufficient. So, and then the white mage, if they use their holy strategically, like another video I showed on my channel, I called it the ideal healer. Either ideal healer or no, I said ideal white mage, because every healer is different. But it was pretty much the ideal white mage. She did everything I wanted her to do without me telling her to do it, without even me suggesting it. She just did it. That was a great sign she knew what she was doing. She didn't spam holy. She did it strategically. That was awesome. So then, even if things get hairy, you can use your holy as an emergency to stun everything, because the tank, and it would be nice if the DPS, melee DPS did it too, stunned whatever needed to be stunned to prevent AoE damage, as opposed to stunning everything, making them stun immune, slowing our DPS when we have to run out of the point blank AoE. But I digress. You could use the Holy to then defend yourself, and then with the Black Mage, double Black Mage combo, or Black Mage Samurai combo, they're the highest DPS in the game. So Az will die very, very fast, especially if you have two Black Mages, because that's double the AoEs, double the AoE damage. That's pretty much the ideal speedrunning party, because they can pretty much handle anything. Unless you get that, even if you do, I would still recommend you see if your party can handle it. This has gone on kind of long enough. I'll pick this up later. But another dungeon I want to keep and bring up before I end this right now is this dungeon right here. Bardam's Metal. This dungeon gets so severely underestimated, it's not even funny. The very first 2 or 3 pulls of this dungeon are incredibly deadly. Because again, you don't have access to all your abilities. You're not at full strength because of the desync, or you're just not level 80. So it's very easy to be killed in that dungeon, especially if you don't have a good enough team composition, or you have new people, or again, people underestimate it. It's very easy to die in that dungeon. But that's all I'll say for right now. Let's get back into the story. I know I've bored all of my 1 viewers who are still here. Oh wait, the 1 viewer is me, isn't it? How about that? No, Matoya probably won't mention that. Okay, never mind. I actually forgot. We did tell her this. The only thing I think of when I'm dealing with Matoya is the Menphilia situation. For those who don't know, that's all I'm going to say about that. For those who do, you know what I mean. I associate her with that and the Anti-Tower. Plus, I make it an effort to not think about her all that much. So, yeah, she will bring that up. To what extent, I don't know. I love how sassy she is. I think that's a lot of reason why people have grown to like Y'shtola. I know originally she wasn't that popular of a character. Now she is. Deservingly so, I might add. I will give Matoya this. Her cave music is pretty great. And so is her hat.
Nary a word from you all this time. Then you bring every man and his pirogo with you. Did no one teach you any manners, girl?
It's like they exist to argue.
They were too busy teaching me etherology, Master. Jesting aside, I wanted to be the one to express our gratitude. I am told you spared no effort to sustain our bodies while we were away. And for that, we owe you our lives. Thank you.
You were gone so long. I was starting to think you'd set your heart on staying.
It wasn't easy to leave, as it happens. Seldom does one have the opportunity to study other worlds, and I would not have minded extending my stay by a handful of years.
Ever the scholar, Y'shtola dedicated herself to studying ancient civilizations of the First, befriending a tribe known as the Knights Blessed in the process. There she took on the name of Matoya and won the respect of all the children of the forest.
I merely adopted an alias in accordance with the custom of my hosts. Yours just happened to be the first name that came to mind.
You mean to tell me you went gallivanting about using my name and only bother to visit when you need a favor? And don't pretend you don't. I taught you long enough.
Indeed. And devoted pupil that I am, I could not fail to recall my master's sage advice. When the answer eludes you, look to the wisdom of your elders.
You there. Were you going to introduce yourself?
See what I mean?
How remiss of me. Grahatia is my name, and I am proud to call myself a scion. I too wish to offer my gratitude for your invaluable aid in sustaining the Archon's bodies, as well as my apologies. It was my inexpert summoning spell which endangered their lives in the first place.
Ah, yes. The one bent on digging up the mysteries of Alag. Old Galaf used to speak of you, and Kryles told me all about your recent exploits. Do you have a bad back or something? At ease, boy. Whatever mess you've made, I'm not in the habit of dwelling on the failings of the younger generation.
You are too kind. I've also heard much and more about you, Master Matoya. 'Tis an honor to finally make your acquaintance.
Well, that's more than enough pleasantries for anyone. Tell me what you want. I haven't got all day. So that's the way of it. It should be a simple enough matter to make the familiar. The magic, on the other hand.
Ah, that you may leave to me. Being the only one possessed of royal blood, I alone can imbue the subject with the necessary magic.
So I just need to create porxes with the power to stir the soul. Just, I say. Though we're talking about a veritable herd of the little buggers. We'd collapse before we reached double figures. But if I could get a familiar to create the familiars, a mother porxie, as it were.
Yeah, I'm with Zio on that one.
Seems I haven't seen the last of that moldy old hole after all.
Oh, there's quests here. I wonder. I'll have to make a mental note of that. Obviously, again, I'm making a point not to come here, so I don't know how long these have been here. And I'm trying to keep this as streamlined as possible, so I say that after that lecture I went on. But yeah, I try to keep it as streamlined as possible, so we'll stick to the main story, and I'll just try to remember to come back here. Give me 1 second. My phone is about to die. There we are. Oh, I believe you, Alpha, though. That's why it made me laugh. Because usually your Stola is the one that embarrasses him. This time it was the other way around. Though it does kind of make me wonder. Yeah, that's my guess. And Y'shtola just... I really don't understand how she knows her so well. Again, I get it, you've known each other for a long time, but it's like she can speak like Bizarro Superman and she'll understand perfectly. That's the kind of relationship they got. okay. Ordinarily, I would leave right now, but for the sake of the stream, yeah, I expected as much. You're welcome, stream. Alright, so getting back to what I was saying, I decided to take a small break, but it's pretty much done now. This is more like a conclusion. I find it disrespectful when people pull when the tank is pulling, because when you, just because you think the tank can handle it, if you are not the tank, don't make that call. It's as simple as that. Because ordinarily, yeah, we would have handled that no problem. I knew what I was doing. I've been here since the beta. My first class was literally Gladiator. I know what I'm doing. And again, this is also something I tell people. I'd rather go slow and steady and finish that dungeon in one run than wipe 2, 3, 4, 5 times and take much, much longer. Because we have just done it the way I was attempting to do it. Not only will we have killed less ads, we would have got through it faster. That's why I said it was such a contradiction. If you want it, and here's another thing. If you want to kill everything, just say so. When I'm running with friends and they're trying to level up, especially back when Hawk Manor was, you know, early good level up place, I would tell the party, friend and randoms alike, we're going to kill everything for the EXP. And they always agreed. No one disagreed with it because either they were being incredibly nice or they needed the EXP as well. So it worked out for everybody. If you want to kill everything, say so, and I will indulge you. Don't go and pull off on your own, because I will let you get 8. I might let you die. Like I did that DPS, because they apologized for it, like they were actually sorry, just to go do the exact same thing. So then I knew they weren't sorry, and I let them die. And again, I don't know if the healer did it on purpose or not, because unfortunately, a side effect of when they do that, the healer will inadvertently, if I don't do anything about it, the healer will inadvertently get the aggro, so the DPS can almost get off scot-free doing that. So not only are you disrespecting me, you're jeopardizing the healer. So I feel insulted and angered for the both of us. So when that happened, and I saw what they did, despite their apology, I let them die. And so did the healer, thankfully. I was even going to chew them out. I was going to say they were throwing a bunch of faces. Magically, I guess, they couldn't text what they were trying to say, but they just texted a whole bunch of faces. And I was going to say, it was your own fault. You have no one to blame but yourself. But I stopped midway through because they apologized, so I canceled my text. Only for them to go do the exact same thing again, despite apologizing. So I let them die. You see what I'm saying? I'm not defending myself. I'm not justifying anything because I'm already in the right. As simple as that. Don't pull. You're not the tank. Don't pull. Done. The next video is the ironic luck of when I don't play tank, especially when I was grinding for this. When I'm not playing the tank, we get terrible tanks. Oh my god. Especially in World of Darkness, the very first boss. Those of you who, Agramonu, he is an absolute nightmare to fight if the tank just spins him around willy-nilly. Guess what happens when I'm not the tank? Then in addition to that, when I am the tank, and I'm main tanking, either some idiot tries to take the aggro away from me, and they're brand new. I never understood that logic. Like, I get it. You might be fighting a really cool boss, or it might be from a Final Fantasy game you really liked, so you want to main tank it. I understand that. Trust me. But when you are brand new, to the point where you are watching the cutscene, slowing everyone down, when you can watch it in a journal, by the way, and then you main tank and have no idea what you are doing, you shouldn't. Then if you die, the other tank, you know, knowing what they're doing, takes the aggro and then tanks it better than you, showing you how you should be tanking, and then you just take the aggro back. Even me, I am not a professional by any means, but I am definitely above average. If I'm tanking something and I know what I'm doing and I die, I actually let the other tank keep the aggro until they die. Not just out of common courtesy, but I died. I still have weakness debuff. I'm not about to take a boss that already killed me at full strength just to tank it again when I'm weaker. Especially if the other tank turns out might be a better tank than me. So I let them keep the aggro. But we'll talk about that story later. I just wanted to bring up a point. How, ironically, when I'm not the tank, shit hits the fan. And then when I am the tank, someone fights me over aggro. It's just... That's why I take breaks from tanking. It's not that I don't like tanking. I love it. It's my favorite job in the game because I like protecting people. I like protecting friends especially. Hence why Paladin is one of my favorite tanks. The only reason I like Gunbreaker more is because it's more fun. But when it comes to actually protecting people, like your job as a tank is to do, I go Paladin. But anyway, it's not that I don't like the job or that I get bored of it. It's just, it gets exhausting at times. You see what I got to put up with. It gets kind of exhausting, especially since most of the time when people tank, they don't give two damns about what they're, especially in raids. Like, hey, you're Alliance A, you're Alliance B, I'm Alliance C. Well, I'm going to tank Alliance A because that's the first thing I hit. No. Just no. Yeah, you're right about that. This has got to be the dungeon, though. I do love this, that Gratia looks up to us so much, and he gets to go on an adventure with us. It's not his first. Canonically, it isn't, technically. But it is his first one here in the source. Actually, no, I guess that's not true either. Technically, the Labyrinth of the Ancients was. Okay, well, his first one coming back, possessing his younger self. This is the first. So that's kind of neat. Personally, I am getting kind of... Oh, Matoya. It even has her name. Awesome. I'm actually getting really tired of... I say that like it's a bad thing, but that's not 100% true. It's more like there's at least... Crap, man. Like 3 bare minimum, but I want to say 5 dungeons in this area alone. There's the Saints, normal, and hard mode. That's 2. You got the Anti-Tower, technically, so that's 3. Then you got this one, that's 4. But for some reason, I feel like there's another one, but I could just be wrong. But again, there's a bunch of dungeons just here. Obviously, I'm going with the crew. I should go ahead and say that right now. Makes you wonder what Y'shtola was like as a child. Like, was she just as sassy? Less so? More so? Kind of makes you wonder. I like that he says that too, because it plays into his role as being an all-rounder. He can literally go as anything. That being the case, though, I'm obviously the tank. We got our healers. I'm gonna bring him along. I just want to, but the question is, You know, I said all-rounder, but I forgot that's literally what his role is. A lot of people seem to not like Alphanel. I still consider him one of the best boys. But I gotta admit, I do like Alice more, just because her serious nature mixed in with everything else she is just kind of makes me laugh. Y'shtola, she's obviously staying. Her role is Sorceress, that's interesting. So, yeah, sorry Alphanel, we're gonna...
I stand ever ready.
Yeah. But before I do that, I need to be right back for about 5 minutes. So for any of you who are somehow still here, or if you're watching this in the future, just obviously skip ahead. Either way, be right back. Alright, I am back. See what this dungeon is like. Yeah, that's some appropriate music, alright. Oh man, look at all the books, even more in my room. I mean, more. I meant there's more books there than in my room.
Right. To begin with, I need you to gather a few ingredients. Listen well to what the Pirogos say, or you'll wish you had.
Ah, great. Her saying that, I really hope there's not a right or wrong kind of way to do this, because if that's the case, that means we have to rely on other people. People who probably might not know English, or don't read the party chat, or think they know what's best. So, let's hope that's not the case. Okay. I was saying if it actually appeared in the chat. Alright, let's go. Obviously, I'm also going to go as slow as possible so I see what's going on. That, and I also get to see what they got to say. I almost wish I did bring Alphino just to see Alice say it, because sometimes they have unique dialogue together, or at least it feels like they do. I guess I can always come back later. Another thing, I almost forgot about this. I have to pay close attention to what they are attacking, because obviously, even though they're computers, that is the one thing they do that are like actual people, is even though if there's a priority target, people attack whatever they want to attack, typically whatever they hit or I hit first, but that's not always the case. Sometimes I'll hit an enemy first just because it's closer, but that does not mean that's the mob that needs to be killed first. Like in this case, the mobs we want to kill first are the werewolves, because they have AoEs. Excuse me. The Exo Ray, that's a cool name. That really should be something more for like the Sahegan dungeon, but regardless. They don't really seem to do anything, they just kind of mushroom headbutt me. Oh man, that reminds me of Mother 3. Okay, well, that was simple enough. Also gotta try to keep an eye on them, in case they say anything. Tarantula Hawk, awesome. For those of you who don't know what a Tarantula Hawk is one of the worst insects you could possibly be stung by, ever. It's probably the second worst. Only beaten out by, I believe, bullet ants. Oh, right. See, I'm not doing my own advice. I need to. See, I only type the Tarantula Hawks first, because Tarantula Hawk, so I assume that means they have Fatal Sting. Failing that, they have a point blank on that. I guess it's not technically a point blank, it's just a circle AoE. But still, circle AoEs are the most dangerous kind aside from the invisible ones, so ordinarily I would kill the Tarantula Hawks first. Something else I was going to say. Oh, speaking of invisible AoEs, it just so happened while I was leveling up my Astrologian, I got into the Aurorum Veil, and they made the coin counters AoEs visible. And I find that so incredibly interesting, because his entire gimmick, I honestly wish they hadn't have done that. Alright, I honestly wish they hadn't have done that, because by not doing that, and for players who are, you know, more observant, they would see, oh, okay, when the boss, especially with names, why I tell everyone to focus target things. Some people don't want to do that because it clouds up their HUD, but as you can see, my HUD is pretty dispersed, so it's not that big of a deal for me at all. Truthfully, I would say it's not a big deal for them, they just don't have the setup to do it, because they didn't think about it. But regardless, focus target is an amazing tool, and I would recommend everyone use it, especially when fighting bosses. But I said all that to say, if you focus target the coin counter back when his AoEs were invisible, all you would have to do is pay attention to the name. Swipe is an invisible cone AoE. It's mostly only dangerous for tanks or people who are dumb enough to stand by the tank, when at this point they should know better than to do that. Or, I said or, I should have said and. And another one is a glower, where if he randomly turns to your direction and you are not the tank, you should probably move. Of course, if you run forward or backwards, you're gonna get hit, so that's a little more understandable. Until you learn, oh, okay, I should sidestep it. When he does Eye of the Beholder, this one's tricky because it's invisible, and you don't know the range of it. Even if you see it, the range can be kind of misleading. Yeah, I saw that one coming. Son of Ziggy. Oh man, I love that. They might as well just made this one the first boss. Heck, they could have made him the last boss here, and it would still be great. I was gonna say he better have some unique dialogue, but it doesn't look like he does, which is terribly unfortunate. I almost don't even remember what I was talking about. Son of Ziggy. The sad part is, not a lot of people are gonna even know who that is. Hence why they should have made him a boss. But Ziggy, funnily enough, is one of the bosses in the Anti-Tower, a dungeon I mentioned earlier. So, Son of Ziggy. He will probably want revenge for us killing his dad. So, would have made a great boss, but nope, you were reduced to being a regular ad pull. Maybe a unique ad pull, but an ad nonetheless. I honestly don't even remember what I'm saying. Son of Ziggy. That's awesome. Oh, no! It's even better! Sonny of Ziggy. He's even better. Oh, you poor creature. Right, anyway, Eye of the Beholder. That one, you either get very far away, right behind him, or behind him in general, or right under him to dodge Eye of the Beholder. Oh, this one looks nasty. And then his most dangerous attack was swing. It was like 100 tons swing or something like that. Anyway, swipe and swing. Swipe is the frontal cone, which even a DPS, heck, probably a healer even, maybe, could survive. Tank, absolutely. The swing, on the other hand, would kill anything not a tank in one hit. So again, it was a great boss to teach people to pay attention not only to animations, because he did have, you know, 2 of his like 4 unique animations were pretty much the same, but still, it would have taught them to pay attention to animations as well as the focus target bar and how freaking useful it is. Matter of fact, I'm about to prove it in this fight once I learn whatever this mud thing is about. How about that, Mudman? Okay, I don't like the fact there's giant holes, I'm guessing leading to death in the arena. And the mud itself... Okay, we can't step in it. That's kind of a good thing, because I was thinking if we stepped in it, we probably got a debuff, like 6 yalms under, I think is what it's called. It's basically Doom, as long as you stand in the debuff. It'll slowly sink you into the ground until you die. I thought that's what this is, but then that brings up, what's the point of these holes? But I guess we'll find out. Hey, it's that dungeon thing. The one that has gone on to replace every Shadowbringers thing, but no one is sick of it yet because hypocrisy. Sorry, I'll stop. For now. Okay. Oh, okay, I think I see. Yep, I see. Yep, alright. Okay, that was simple. What happens next? Yeah, I was thinking that one sounds like it'd be a room-wide AoE. Nah, I'll just eat it. That wasn't so bad. Okay, now there's guys in them. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
You underestimate me.
So I need to point this one over here with Alice. Okay, that's cool. It's simple enough to figure out as long as you're paying attention. So I'm guessing if that's the case, eventually I said all, but 3 of them are going to be filled up, and then everyone has to point theirs in the correct hole. Fun thing about Reprisal, and the reason why I use it, or love it so much, is damage dealt is reduced. Damage dealt, as in all of it, magic or physical. Oh man, my voice. I'm gonna have to get some water after this. Got like a tickling in the back of my throat. The reason why I like Reprisal so much is... Nope, looks like they're still 2 open. I like it so much because, again, it works on any attack. So what I typically like to do is I'll either save it for tank buster moves or for room-wide attacks. And of course, it's a AoE around yourself. So if you're being attacked by 100 mobs, Reprisal is a great way to help deal with some of that damage. It's kind of the same reason why I use Arm's Length.
Allow me.
Cool, 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 cool. I think that was directed at Tia. I kind of missed what he said because of the frog, or it might have been Alice. I'll be right back because I need some water. Sorry about that. My voice was fine when I got up earlier, so I didn't think to get any water because I just didn't need any. I should have, but it just didn't dawn on me because I didn't need it. Matter of fact, even now, the tickle in my throat went away, but I got water now, so... Yeah, she just said that. So it's literally like we're making Porksies again, and thankfully, I might be speaking too soon. There's a boss arena there. I wonder. Thankfully, it doesn't look like there's a... Oh, the frog says we need clay, but you brought back, I don't know, a papato. So now you're going to take 100k damage, and you have to do it all over again. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be a thing. They said something, but I missed it. Cave gelatin. So we're going to be dealing with water enemies, huh? Oh man, that thing looks nightmarish. I just noticed it kind of has a face on it. And I'm guessing the Puggles, whatever, have corkscrew. That's kind of their signature attack. The gelatin, probably something like Water 3. Well, there was an AoE of some kind. I didn't get to see what it was, though. Dang, man, they destroyed this thing. I think they actually get, like, much higher damage output compared to regular players just because they're computers, so you kind of need the fight to end faster. Nice little Resident Evil jump scare there. I call it a jump scare. It didn't scare me, but it made me think of something you'd see in Resident Evil, especially the Resident Evil 2 remake, where you go to pick up an item just for like a zombie to bust through the door or fall out the ceiling or something. Hence why I don't like when healers stun everything. Or I should say spam stun everything. Man, he just took off. Something I do have to keep in mind, though, is just because these pulls look easy, like I said, they're doing a lot of damage. And it's been a while, obviously, since I've done a dungeon run with the crew. So I can't say screwdriver. I said corkscrew. I meant to say screwdriver, but I thought it was corkscrew. I was thinking of this AoE, though. Unless the other one I'm thinking of is corkscrew. I don't know. Anyway, it was this AoE. But yeah, I might be wrong, but I don't feel like I am, because they're doing so much damage. Then again, something, no, he's definitely playing a healer role. I was thinking for a second there that Garatia might have been doing Black Mage attacks, but still had, like, White Mage healing moves. But no, he's completely doing the White Mage thing. But yeah, it feels like they're doing more damage than normal, so I'm going to have to keep that in mind when I come in here with people and do like back-to-back pulls. Thankfully, and this is something I will mention because I know people will say something about it and they're technically right, but big pulls are not as bad as they used to be, because back in the day, some classes were legit just not built to do group pulls. They literally, I say literally, but they couldn't handle it as well. Like, obviously, for example, monk, back then, kind of is now, but not as bad, but back then was pretty much solely meant for one-on-one engagement. They can take on one enemy really, really good. They can do a bunch of damage to one enemy very fast, while a black mage does a lot of damage to a lot of enemies all at once. Or it can do a lot of damage to one enemy. It's kind of its trade-off in being a stationary casting class. And the Dragoon was kind of good, but most of their AoEs were line AoEs, which I think did more damage than their circle AoE. But again, line AoE takes up less space than a circle AoE. So even then, get what I'm getting at? This just dawned on me too. The cave gelatin don't necessarily look like they're made of water, because, I mean, gelatin. But for real, what they make me think of is Crest toothpaste. You know that blue toothpaste? Or that toothpaste you got when you were a kid? The one that was safe to eat in case you accidentally swallowed it? That's what this cave gelatin reminds me of. Don't know why I'm on a nostalgia trip so much now, but eh. It'd also be worth noting that I'm obviously holding back since I'm the only one here. Case in point. I'd be paying much more attention if it was with actual people and I wasn't streaming. So I'm pretty much saving all of my skills for when the boss shows up, or if something cataclysmic happens. Because I'm underestimating this dungeon run. That's cool, they even gave them falling sound effects. Because you're almost never going to see that. They didn't even have to give them any. But they did. So I like that. A mischievous presence, you say, and we're dealing with water. Oh, I've seen that thing. I've seen it as a minion. Oh god, it's still here. Oh, that's not good. Because it looks adorable, but it freaks your Stola out, so that in itself is warrant of concern. Can't wait to see what they say when we defeat it. And see, that's what I'm saying. It makes you... Okay. I didn't get a debuff, so that tells me I did it right. Typically... Oh, gee, thanks. They're literally not doing anything, so all I can hope for is we're supposed to dodge these water spouts. We've actually seen this mechanic before, so I know how to dodge it, and it's not as dangerous as when it was first employed. But they're not doing anything, so I can only hope this is correct. Nope, no it wasn't. I kind of figured, because it was taking too long. But they literally weren't attacking, so I was like, okay, are we really supposed to just dodge it? I didn't think... Oh, wait a minute, let me try something. I just had an idea. I don't know if it'll work, though. But see, that's another reason why I'm glad I'm doing this by myself, because I get to experiment. Because I don't want to... I mean, it's here's the thing, when it comes to, do you want me to explain the dungeon or not? Typically, my rule of thumb is, if they're new, and they don't ask, or if they haven't ran the dungeon in a long time, like, hey, I don't remember this, unless they do one of those two things, I don't tell them. Because they probably want to experience it for themselves, fair enough. So that's why I'm glad I'm doing this, because I have not watched the video, no one has talked about it, and the only reason I'd be okay with someone explaining the rules now is because we wiped, but since this is just me, I get to figure it out for myself. All the more reason I'm glad I'm doing it by myself, because I don't have to worry about dragging the rest of my team down. But it does make me kind of curious why they just froze. That's the first time the crew has ever actually let me down. They just stood there until like the last literal second. It's okay, let me try my theory to see if I'm right, because I either wasn't close enough, because I tried attacking the one on the cloud like this, but nothing happened. So either I wasn't close enough or I couldn't reach him. So that makes me think one of two things. Either I straight up wasn't close enough, let me try something. Nah, man, she nearly got destroyed. I'm thinking I do have to just eat that by myself, because Alice, I think, only got hit by one, and it nearly killed her. Okay, let me see if my theory is correct.
Allow me.
Yeah, I can't reach them, and they're still just standing there. Well, I know if we do nothing, we die, so... Oh, that's kind of what I expected. Yep, I knew it! I knew it. I was like, okay, the water sprouts. I was like, we can't reach them, but we're clearly supposed to kill them, so I got it. That's awesome. I'm glad I figured that out, because I would have felt really stupid if we failed again. Like, that's gotta be it. And I was right. Nice. We still died! Oh, wow. I got too caught up in my moment. Now I gotta figure out what I did wrong again. So, okay, we jump up there. We kill the ads. And then what happens? I see why Y'shtola was afraid of this thing now. I'm going to be much faster about it, though. Like, get up there immediately. I'm going to kill everything. And then I'm going to see what happens. Because I would think standing on the cloud would have protected us. Since I was looking at the explosion that came from the center of the room. You know, don't be there. But no, still died. So, what did I do wrong? Plus, it'll give me a good chance to try to figure out that cross-line AoE thing he skewered me with. So I'm guessing that's specifically meant for the tank. Because Y'shtola, not Y'shtola, I might have said Y'shtola earlier, but I meant Alisei. Alisei got hit by it, and it did roughly half her health. So if she got hit by, somehow got hit by 2, or was standing on top of me, like I'm all but certain someone has already done and will do, it'll just kill them immediately. Because even as a tank, that move stung a bit. This is kind of exciting, though. It feels nice to figure out how this boss works. It also makes me feel like this is continuing the theme of the boss before the last one is tougher than the actual boss themselves. Another great example of this is in a Nier raid, the Puppet's Bunker. I'm not going to say what, for those who don't know. But, objectively, the next to last boss is harder than the first one. Objectively. It is provable. Okay. Apparently, Alisei's getting sick of this thing. I can't blame her for that. Okay, yeah, see, they specifically moved out of the way. I guess Alisei just happened to stand near me that last time before I moved to her. Yeah, it hurts, but it's not fatal. And I was trying to say, before this happened, if you are... Okay, not this, but the next thing. If you are new to a dungeon, and you're not sure how mechanic works, don't freak out if you take damage, because chances are, either the damage was straight up unavoidable, and or you did the mechanic right. If you don't get a debuff for taking damage, or just a debuff in general, chances are you did it right. Okay, this is probably the wrong one. I think I need to get to that one over there. Matter of fact, yeah. Dang, yeah, I was afraid of that. We wasted time. Okay, kill these things fast. I'll try to kill them in the order they're attacking them in. Yeah, we survived that time. You're just a... let me calm myself. Because I swear we killed all the ads. Okay, maybe not all of them, but we had enough time to finish them off. But apparently I was wrong. I think... Okay. I know a lot of people do that. They'll call like shenanigans or bullcrap, even though they were clearly in the wrong. I can't say for certain because it happened so fast. But it felt like we killed all the ads and we still died. Or bare minimum... we had enough time to kill them all. We still had time, and we still died. So that second one, I don't know, because I was so caught up in, oh, I figured it out. I might have been wrong, but I honestly felt like we had enough time to kill all the ads, even if we hadn't before we wiped. So that irks me a bit, but whatever. At least I know how to do it now. Guessing this time we don't want to... Didn't make it. I should have sprinted. This time we don't want to get launched because there's no point. Especially if it just knocks us into the air anyway. Or not into the air, but with the AoEs going off, it'll just throw us into one of those, I guarantee it. Whenever he does this, I'm going to try to get into the habit of being in the middle. That way I have enough time to react to wherever he places them. I'll also extend that advice to anyone who plays anything like this in general. Typically what you want to do is pull the boss. That's why I did it off of sheer instinct. But typically what you want to do is bring the boss all the way to the back, and then obviously turn them away from the party. But I would say, if this is one of the rare instances where you do want to do this, I would say for this one, you actually want to keep it center. That way when he's doing the side room attacks, you can just move. I hope I get you as a minion. I really do. If Y'shtola said anything, as I hope she would have, I missed it, so... But I was also saying, that's why I love bringing the crew, because they have unique dialogue. Like, obviously, Alphino, well... Yeah, I guess I could replace Tia with Y'shtola, technically. Alphino almost certainly wouldn't comment on it like Y'shtola did. Like, Y'shtola was just like, ah, crap, this thing is still here. It's like, okay. It looks adorable, but it's an enemy, so clearly it's dangerous. But why? Now we know. Alphino almost certainly wouldn't have said that. Dang it, I just remembered. They probably had something to say and I missed it. Well, whatever. I can always run it again on my own time if I so desire. But okay, that second boss was actually really fun. I said very easy, but I mean easy in the terms of how much health it has. So it's more like molten Jolly Ranchers than actual lava. It's very pretty, and I'm guessing the heat is intense, but if it wasn't for those two things, it'd be so easy to die in here. Can you imagine a child thinking that was candy if it wasn't for the scalding heat? A lava phobad. Cool. Oh, they're actually attacking it first. I'm genuinely surprised, because this thing, chances are... I say chances are he has the AoE, but it looks like the Flan might be the more dangerous one. Is that licorice or licorice? Don't know how to spell that. If it's licorice, I find that funny because that goes hand in hand with the Jolly Rancher joke I made earlier. I'm just good like that. Hey, get back here. I also find it funny how I was talking about underestimating the dungeon. I meant in the terms of the pulls. I would take the bosses seriously. It's just like me not pulling big right now, or me not using No Mercy. Okay, that's probably going to be an environmental hazard we're going to have to watch out for. I also should have waited, because considering this is lava, it kind of surprises me there wasn't a lingering AoE after that. I wonder if this is one of the rare dungeons that have 4 bosses. Because there was earth, or clay, then there was water, and now we need fire, essentially. So, does that mean the third boss is the fire boss, or is the third boss going to be guarding the kiln, if not the kiln itself, for whatever reason? But yeah, it breaks uniform, but there is... Excuse me, there's at least 2 dungeons, I believe, that have 4 bosses. Instead of, well, no, actually it's more than 2. Because, ironically enough, Satasha... Well, no, not Satasha. My mistake. So let me think about that. I know regular Satasha isn't. I'm trying to think, what about hard mode? No, hard mode has 3 too. Well, anyway, one of the dungeons that have 4 bosses, I believe, is the Steel Vigil. Or at least the hard mode. I might be wrong about those two, but I swear there's at least one dungeon that has 4 bosses in it. Huh. Parting the Red Sea. Sea of lava. It still works. Yeah, syrup, marshmallow. Yeah, they're totally playing up the candy thing. It makes me wonder if that thing's the boss. Kind of that Emerald kind of feel from him. Did they really just stand in that? Apparently they did. And I'm kind of getting hurt here. So, gonna have to pay a little bit more attention. Oh, look at that. She actually uses Vercure. Makes me really glad I brought her. I didn't think she would do that. I thought she would just left it all up to the healer. That reminds me, I've mentioned this in passing. I pronounce it Grimlet. I don't know how to actually pronounce it because I don't remember how it's pronounced. I'm not even sure if I've heard it. But the Grimlet Dart, I remember there was like a, I want to say warrior or dark knight, and I was a red mage. And he actually praised me and calmed me for using Vercure. And I only used Vercure because the healer wasn't healing him up enough, so I gave some Vercures to help out. And he was genuinely surprised and glad that I did that. And I had mixed reaction. Like, obviously I'm glad, but I felt bad at the same time because it's like, really? Because you know how I feel. I don't tell people to use rotations because, obviously, but when it comes to just doing your job, just do your job. If you're a healer, heal. Throw off the occasional dot, some DPS, sure, but you heal. DPS, your job is completely self-explanatory. Tank a bit, keep aggro best you can, throw out the occasional AoE and dot. Use Clemency if you're a paladin. Use Aurora, more than Aurora, use Heart of Stone if the ads get really ugly. If you're a gunbreaker, etc., etc. Just do your job. That's all I ask. So for him to say that implies there are red mages who don't use Vercure, even though it's totally justifiable. As a matter of fact, I've talked to at least one red mage who never thought to combo Ver-Raise off a dual cast. Like, you can literally, even though there's no enemies around, Vercure yourself, then dual cast Ver-Raise whoever your target is. It's really simple, but they don't think about it, either because they're brand new or they're just so focused on that DPS. Which kind of reminds me of the other video I need to talk about. Not right now though, because the third boss should be right over there. Okay, so you're not the third boss, you're just a, the land kind of enemy. Something else I wanted to comment on, what was it? Dang, I don't remember. That was also dangerous, because that could have been a flamethrower-esque attack where it lingers. I figured it didn't, so I risk it. But I shouldn't have done that, because I don't know. The entire point of doing this is to figure out what does what, so I shouldn't have done that. And also, it should be obvious by now, but let that be a lesson. Just because I tell people what to do and call them out doesn't mean I'm not going to do it to myself. I judge people the same way I judge myself. I'm not exempt from my own justice. I'm not like that. If I judge you harshly, rest assured, I judge myself 10 times as harsh. Alright, so that answered my question. Oh, this looks like, crap, what's that thing's name? Okay, thankfully this isn't, no, that's neat. It's literally like a lava lamp. I was like, oh man, I'm probably not going to like this boss, because it was reminding me, I don't remember its, I want to say the repurposer, but that doesn't sound right. Refurbisher? I don't know. But there's this giant machine with one arm that you fight, well technically it has no arms, but it gets one, that you fight in Alexander, and if it gets both arms, it becomes twice as deadly. Hey, look at that, the mother porksy. Are we gonna have to fight it? Let me not guess, let me just see and find out.
Right then, let's get this over with.
For once we agree.
Newborns are wont to be difficult. Sure, who's in charge?
Called it. I wasn't even being sassy or joking. I legitimately thought, okay, we'll probably end up having to fight the porksy. And, yep, not on the table. I'm surprised they're not saying anything. I'm expecting, if anyone, Alice should say something special here. Tenderloin. That's neat. I didn't expect it to be a group AoE, and dang, it hurt them a lot. Hey, get back here.
I will not hold back.
Yeah, we've seen similar mechanics before, so that's pretty simple. I'm guessing she's going to combo it with other things later. Meat mallet. Why stop there? Barbecue. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm guessing getting hit by that stuff probably stuns us. Crap. Yeah, I lit up a little bit. I love how dramatic this is because of the music. Mincemeat. Now that sounds like a tank buster. Yep, sure was. Really? Right as I use No Mercy? Oh, there you are. Oh, that's neat. I figured she'd combo it with something, but I didn't expect that. That was cool. I like that. I love when bosses have like interesting new mechanics like that. Like literally all it did was give us an overview of where she was and what she was doing. But still, that was such a neat way to spice up that mechanic. In case that doesn't work, throw out one of these. There we go. It reminds me of Passage of Arms, but I really hope they buff that. Because the funny thing about Passage of Arms, it says that it reduces the damage of those who stand in it. And it's a guaranteed block for the Paladin, which is great. But the utility of reducing damage, it not only does it not feel like it does that, it feels like you take more damage when you stand in it. That's most likely untrue, but I'm just telling you what it feels like. It doesn't feel like you get reduced damage, which is really sad. Because I love that move. It's not Divine Veil or Clemency, but it's still fun to use. Nice to have. Looks cool. This would also be a good time to use a Limit Break for those who come here as a DPS when they're doing that attack, because it leaves them so... She has a lot of open attacks you can Limit Break on. Like Mincemeat especially, because you don't even have to worry about getting hit with that one.
There'll be nothing left of you but a smoking crater.
Yeah, you say that, but we don't want to destroy it, Alice. Yeah, take a nap. That was fun. And what did I say? The second boss was harder than the third one. She twitch? Yeah, she sure is. Alright, what do you guys got to say? She did put up a fight, but that second boss was definitely harder. See? She commented on it. For a second there, I wasn't sure if I... Was there not a chest, or was I just not paying attention? I was too distracted by the twitching pig. Whatever.
There we are. Quite tame.
Yeah, thanks for all your help.
Then all that remains is for me to imbue her with the magic. My friends, I'm afraid I must trouble you for your ether once more.
It looks like you would need a lot more, because she's, let's just say she eats well compared to the other ones. Matoya, you know, you're magical. Feel free to assist. Anytime. No, yet the young ones pass out from fatigue instead? Alright.
That should suffice.
He's really making me want to play my Black Mage. I'm not now on stream anyway, but I'm really in a Black Mage mood.
Let's set her to work then, shall we? I want to see some porksies. Assuming that is, someone can spare the requisite energy.
Yeah, look who I'm looking at.
A mere drop in the ocean for the great sorceress Matoya, I dare say.
Are you just, like, not magical anymore? I'm sorry. It's just, Matoya just bugs the crap out of me. So I'm gonna nitpick everything she does. She just sneezes porksies into existence. Kind of like the Big Bang.
Excellent. Our very own litter of Angelos. And we can make as many more as we want, simply by providing the mother porksy with additional ether.
Yeah, Matoya, get on that.
I will require a moment before I try again.
It's still hard work, but a damn sight more efficient than making them one by one. Thank you, Master Matoya. Everyone, we're a step closer to our goal.
Distributed amongst the allied nations, they should do much to facilitate closer dialogue with the beast tribes. And given their present travails, I believe our friends in Limsa Laminsa should be the first beneficiaries.
I agree.
Agreed. Though I must leave this errand to you. I doubt my legs will carry me out of the cave, much less to Vilbrand. Thank you for taking the lead in gathering the ingredients. I expect you would benefit from a rest too.
I would, but I got a stream, so...
In addition to the porksies, I trust you've gained an inkling of how much effort goes into the creation of familiars. Or mayhap you attribute your struggles to old age?
Yeah, standing there doing nothing, it did look quite difficult.
If I said yes, would it persuade you to treat me like an adult?
Not with that pertness, it wouldn't. Anyway, assuming you have no other favors to ask, I shall be leaving.
Alright, see ya. Who wears a sorcerer hat that big and does nothing? Yeah, I remember the black box, but it turns out it's not that big of, well, it is a big deal. It's a very big deal. As you can see, it's big enough to cover Mother Porksy. But it's not happening as frequently as I thought it would, so I'm hoping I can just let it slide. That is a very good question. I have only, like, one real answer, though. Of course. If you need time to read this, just come back later and pause it. I decided to start at the bottom because I might have missed the first part, or the latter parts. I'm gonna go with not. Y'shtola is infinitely more charming and 10 times more bearable than Matoya. Nah, more like 100. Great. I like how he specifically mentions Estinian. I wish they stopped saying that, because that is not true. Y'shtola is likable. That's literally the main difference. I shouldn't have to worry about checking this one every 11 seconds since it's going to be static. But yeah, I wanted to comment on this. Mechanic-wise, yes, the third boss was harder, simply because it looked like they'd be... Actually, no, I might actually take that one back. I was going to say, the reason I said the second one is harder isn't just because it wiped me like 2 or 3 times. It was harder because, one, I had to figure it out, because, like I said earlier, and it's kind of the same trick that Hades does with his bad faith, or not bad faith, broken faith, in that it shows you a mechanic. This one is much more guilty, because it's literally the exact same attack. But the thing that makes... Yeah, I got distracted because that was a person I know in my FC, and they were dressed like Cryo. But the thing that makes it so bad was, with broken faith, it makes you think you need to stand in the pillars, because you've been mentally conditioned to stand in the pillars to stop AoE damage from going off for the entire party. That's not true. That's not true at all. You actually want to do the opposite. This one, it looks exactly like... I want to try to remember the name of it. Matter of fact, I'll just show you. I know the dungeon, but I'm trying to think of the name of the attack. The dungeon is right here. I believe it's... Yeah, it's definitely the first boss. And I believe the attack is called something like Lake Blood or something like that, where sprouts of water come out of the ground, and you want to avoid them because they stun you and they knock you into the air. And if you don't move quick enough, by the time you are unstunned, you will just get loops all over you. I've seen people die to that because they aren't ready to move once the stun comes off, so they just get hit by another sprout and get stunned all over again, and they don't have enough health to become stun immune to survive being stunned, if you can even be stun immune. This one, it looks the exact same, and technically it worked the same. The only difference was it didn't do damage and it didn't stun me, so it was very misleading. The only thing that gave it away was the ads on top and the fact that I couldn't reach them, but even then I thought, okay, maybe they're just there for a show and I'm supposed to dodge the AoEs. Because there are bosses that do that. They'll summon an ad you can't hit, so you can't even attack it. You just have to avoid whatever's going on. So that's what I thought was happening. So after the first death, I was like, okay, clearly it's the ads. So let me test my theory to see if I can stand on these things. And sure enough, I was right. And then somehow I still died again. Clearly it was my fault, but it happened so fast I don't even know what exactly killed me. Because I could have swore I had more time. Or at least it felt like I should have, but... Anyway. Yeah, I mean, we're only the saviors of the realm multiple times over. See, that's interesting, because the normal Sahuagin leader does not look like that. So I can't help but wonder. Of course it would be them. She should have done something about them a long time ago. I like the name Sickard. I hope that's how it's pronounced, because it sounds like sick bastard mixed together. Sickard. It's a perfect name to use as an insult. Just to make sure I'm right. Yep, didn't move. I don't know what Ethonra was doing. Leave the most dangerous job for me. That's not even me complaining. That's actually a wise decision. So, while we're running around, I guess I'll go and tell you about the other situation. I lightly touched on it, so there's not too much else to say. But, the second video, I said what happened, but the reason why I named it what I named it is because I've had people get on my case for doing exactly what I did there. And if you're wondering why I would spam something in chat, it's because I want them to see it and to let them know what I said earlier is happening right now. Like, I remember I said I've only done it once, and that is technically true. But in one case, for example, what's the name of that dungeon? It was, I can't remember. The one with the Sahuagin Queen, that was in the first, though, so it should be fine. But yeah, the Sahuagin Queen, and, I told people two things. I told them they need to stand on the vents, and then I told them later on, get on the vents without, in all caps, hands behind them. Here's another thing about that. Let me touch on this, because you've seen me do it before, I'm sure. When I all cap something, that does not mean I'm yelling. Even if there's an exclamation point at the end, that implies that I'm yelling, but it typically doesn't. But more to the point, if there is all caps, or I say a sentence or a phrase in all caps, that does not mean I'm yelling. It means whatever I'm saying is the most important thing in this sentence. So if there's anything you need to remember, it is this. It is literally the same logic as Legend of Zelda when they color text. Important phrases and words is the exact same thing, just all caps. So when I said stand on the vents without hands, I had the word without in all caps, so they'll know stand on the vents without hands, right? Right. So I start the fight, and eventually the vent part comes up, so then I scroll back up and then use the stand on the vents thing, and they did. Then when the vents popped up again, I sent the later on text. Even though it said later on, I just simply brought it back up and used it again to let them know, hey, this mechanic is happening. Stand on the vents without hands on them. And they did, and it went flawlessly, right? So if I'm doing that and you accuse me of taking over the raid, oh, I'm sorry, that was a Destiny 2 thing. What I meant was just being pushy or rude or bossy, and then when we wipe like 75 times, you're gonna wonder why. I don't see why not. I mean, he really has helped us out a lot. He always had a price at the end, which, fair, he's a businessman before he's a pirate, which is an interesting character model in and of itself, but sure, why not? It's not like we can make use of it, and he would definitely put better use to it than Sickard is. Provided, of course, Sickard isn't doing something like organ trafficking or something. But anyway, I said all that, going back to what I said earlier. That was a prime example. If I so desire, and I didn't plan on recording that video, so it's not like, oh, I'll pretend to be good. No, what you saw is exactly how I am. The only reason that would have, even if you made me, like, actual pissed off, I still wouldn't cuss you out, or talk dirty. I said dirty, that's definitely the wrong term. I meant something else. Not dirty, but focus, okay? Focus. The point is, I'm not going to talk to you like you're a dog, alright? Ever. No matter how mad you make me. So with that being said, if I talk the way I did in that video and you think I'm being a prick, if I'm being a prick in that video, then you're being a snowflake. That's how that logic works. Because I could have been much, much ruder if I so desired. But the point wasn't to be rude. The point was tell you what you need to know so you'd stop screwing us over. That was the point. And it worked. So what's the problem? We all know if you've played any game that requires cooperation, that allows you to talk freely, we all have seen that one guy, that one girl who will just rip you a new asshole just because you forgot to put your tank stance on in that first run, or you didn't use benediction. Like, yeah, that's annoying, but it's not worth wanting to actually kill someone over. It's not worth swatting their house over. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the main point of that video, is I had, in my own humble opinion, excellent patience. I could have rage quit. I could have kicked them out. I mean, let's be honest here. I could have, and arguably should have, kicked that tank out. They went through basically the entire dungeon doing nothing but total eclipse. And I noticed it, but I wasn't 100% sure. Like, I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I focused on healing. But as the dungeon went on, I noticed it more and more, especially when she wasn't using shield lob. Like, every once in a while, you might see me run up to a mob and do that. But typically, I do that when I know my teammates are far back enough to not draw aggro, so I don't really worry about it. I also do that because, and I hate when healers do this, it's not cataclysmic, but it is annoying, when if I do, in this case, lightning shot, and I have regen on me, I'll get that one ad, but the 20 others are going to go straight for the healer. As opposed to if I run up to them and use what I call my Vein Sever combo, that's going to get all of them in the immediate area, so I don't have to worry necessarily about losing any to the regen. So while, yeah, 99.90% of the time you want to use your ranged aggro, there are going to be times where you just want to run up to them and then do your AoE combo. So that's why I didn't think too much about it. So I noticed she was doing it every single time, especially when she didn't need to. And right before I called her out on it, my FC mate did. So I was like, okay, so I really wasn't seeing things. She really is just going through the entire dungeon doing total eclipse, which is ridiculous. And it doesn't help that she wasn't listening to what I was saying. So by all rights, should have kicked her out. By all rights, I should have done that, and I wouldn't have felt guilty about it. I wouldn't have been in the wrong for it. How are you going to be that high up in a level and only be using total eclipse? How? It's nothing short of a miracle of God that she knew how to do her tank stance. But I didn't kick her out. I didn't chew her out. I didn't cuss her out. I simply told her how this mechanic is done and what to do. That's it. But I'm the asshole for doing that the way I did it. Okay. Oh, looks like she's getting soft. Or softer, anyway. She does kind of have feelings for the captain of the Kraken. That's kind of fun to say. Yeah, I'll just run back. I'm not making any promises here because this is something I meant to say much earlier, but I got distracted by literally everything. I'm going to have a very, very busy week. So I'm going to try to do as much of the stream as I can right now before I get too tired. And hopefully finish it, because it's really going to agitate me, because I hate being off by 1. If the main goal is to get 10 and I get 9 and that's still a passing grade, it still annoys me that I was off by 1, right? So it's going to irk me if I do all of this for like another hour and then I stop because I'm getting too tired, only to come back and find out I only had like 4 minutes left of the entire expansion. That would actually piss me off. So I'm trying to either just brute force all of it. Matter of fact, I know a good way to test that. Yeah, I can do expert now, so it's not like I'm missing another expert dungeon, so I might be wrapping this up soon. It depends. I'm trying to wait for another Garlean cutscene, preferably one doing with Xenos, because then I know, okay, we just made it to the next halfway point. That's another minion I want, the Ephemeral Necromancer, because she had some very interesting dialogue in her fight. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have a very busy week, so the next time I'll be able to stream will be either the 25th or the 30th or the 31st. So I'm trying to get as much in as I can, but if I don't, those will be the days where I can stream again. You say that, but you would also, then again, you're pretty smart. You probably wouldn't be too surprised to find out piracy is still going on. Not just going on, but very, very bad. Like kidnapping levels bad. Yeah, that sounds nice. Naturally. Oh man, I've actually had sausage and sauerkraut before. I mean, it's not exactly a, you know, big deal kind of dish. But the fact that I see it here, oh man, I'm also kind of hungry. Apologies for that one time I was eating in stream, by the way. That was incredibly unprofessional, but I was so hungry. But yeah, sausage and sauerkraut, man, that's some good stuff. What does it give you? Okay, I gotta pick it. Ordinarily, I'd take the coin, but sausage and sauerkraut. I mean, I'll like eat sauerkraut itself. Sauerkraut is good stuff. Oh, I see. It's still loading in. I was like, why is it not letting me talk to him? There we go. Okay. So I'm like, I know there's a way to get there without going through Middle Lenosia from here. I just couldn't remember where the exit was. I think I pretty much commented on everything I want to say now, so for those who are still lingering and get tired of me talking, don't worry, I won't be doing too much of that now, unless something interesting pops up or more theory crafting. Fun fact though, I think it would be kind of embarrassing and annoying if I was talking this whole time and no one could hear what I was saying. But I know I never have to worry about that, because whenever people show up, in less than a minute of me talking, they leave. So the fact that people have been leaving tells me they can't hear me, so I don't have to worry about that. Does that make me feel bad? No. No, not at all. Oh, that's kind of neat. I almost never come this way. Usually I just go to Middle Enosia or Limsa when I want to just hang out here. You know, funnily enough, I almost picked that hairstyle myself. I actually had it on earlier before I changed back to this. Another reason I love this game is the vocabulary. You learn so many new words just playing this game. He looks familiar, though. Alphino's just smiling. I knew he was going to do that. Oh man, he is hilarious. Like, he couldn't just, like, look this way or nod his head. No, he's going to give the thumbs up. Ah, man. Like I said, a lot of people don't like Alphino anymore. I have always liked him. So, I don't see what the big deal is. But I will readily admit that he no longer has the title of Goodest Boy. That obviously belongs to Raha now. I mean, it's been belonging to him for quite some time, but he's obviously Goodest Boy now. Yeah. Oh, I bet I know who you are. Yep. That was easy. He made a very bad mistake there. I'm going to comment on it later. That's disrespectful. Okay, so real quick. He said a damning piece of evidence earlier. Same case with another TV show my dad watches that he's told me about. Same thing happened there, but since I haven't seen it for myself, I'm not going to bother to give that example in case he told me wrong. So I will use this one and compare it to other ones you all should look out for in the future. What Sickard said was that he knows we've been talking to the Admiral because it is a perk of being one of the, he might have said the only, but whatever, one of the only real pirates left around, okay? So for him to say that means, well, actually, I would say it means one of two things, but only means one thing really. Either, well, I guess it does mean one of two. Either he has excellent spies, like just around, or, and here's what my implication is, he has executioners in the Maelstrom, high up in the Maelstrom. So then, if I was in this world and he told me that and he let me live, not only will I tell the Admiral, hey, we got a invitation from Sickard to come here. I'm 90% certain it's a trap of some kind. You should be careful. In addition to, Sickard also let it be known that he knew we talked to you because he has eyes and ears everywhere. So there's a very real chance there's an executioner spy in the higher rankings of the Maelstrom. You should probably look into that. Being from Ul'dah, having to deal with the Ivy, I'm kind of an expert on this kind of thing. You should look into this immediately. That said, I'm pretty certain she won't. I hope she would. I hope they bring it up, but I doubt they will. Ever the firecracker. They're pirates. You should know this already. Still don't understand why YouTube freaks out when I'm recording now. It's very annoying because it just happens randomly and I don't know what could have possibly triggered it. It just happens now. It's not as bad as it was a few months ago where it literally happened non-stop. Every once in a while it does stop wigging out, but it shouldn't be happening at all, and I don't know why. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You guys thankfully don't have to deal with it, but it can make keeping track of what's going on a bit difficult, because I do keep my phone nearby in the off chance someone actually tries to talk to me. But while I'm doing that, again, it freaks out. So I just thought I'd share it to let you guys know, yeah, it's still a very much still a problem. Also, this guy, Enizar, I don't know. A lot of the roles' names are incredibly complicated to pronounce. However it's pronounced, I actually hate this guy because he used to be Miss Beard, and Miss Beard did some horrible, horrible things. Like, yeah, that's your past life and all, but you still did them, so I still hate you. Yeah, it's almost like we should let her know it's a trap and there are spies. Matter of fact, I hate him so much, I wasn't even paying attention to what he said. I just clicked on him just because I'm so used to doing that, and so you guys can see what he said, but I was not paying attention. I cannot tell you a thing Miss Beard over there said. Oh, great, it's a ship.
Look who's come crawling! Traitor!
You can shove your piece!
Welcome aboard, Admiral. I'll wager you don't remember me. Sicard, acting captain of the bloody executioners, at your service.
'Twas kind of you to invite us. Now, if Captain Hillfear has a message for me, I bid you speak it.
We have just the one demand. That you forget this bilge about making peace with the Beastmen. Ours is a nation of pirates. Always has been, always will be. Deny us our right to plunder, and you deny who we are.
That's such horse shit.
Too bloody right!
Pirates till we die!
What we want, we take!
Exactly.
Piracy has no place in our future.
Damn straight.
What'd she say?
Pirates have no place.
They saying get a real job.
Our nation has prospered through piracy, 'tis true. Yet it is but one part of our long and storied history. Centuries ago, our ancestors led a failed rebellion and were driven from their homes with little more than the shirts on their backs. In fear of their lives, they sailed south until they came to these shores. Finding the land occupied by kobolds, however, they were forced to turn to piracy in order to survive. And survive they did. But not so long ago, when the Empire threatened to crush everything we'd built, we set aside piracy and joined hands with our neighbors. This too was in order to survive. And survive we did. Time after time we fought the Empire, and time after time we won. And through trade with our newfound allies, we prospered more than we ever did through pillaging and plundering. The Empire teeters on the brink of collapse. Ere long, provinces like Wurlit and Bosnia and many others will regain their freedom.
I thought it was Bosnia.
When they do, our matchless fleet will lead the world in a new golden age of commerce. The tides favor us, and the ocean beckons with her vast bounty. But if we cling to the old ways, this great ship we call Limsa will trade the boundless seas for a lagoon. Shall we scorn the world's wealth for a plundered pittance, then? Or shall we embrace change and thrive, like our ancestors before us? The choice is yours. But if we are to prosper in the coming age, the whole of Vilbrand must become our ship, and a kobold and Sahagin our crewmates.
Rousing words. Might even be some truth in them. But pirating's all we've ever known. And we ain't about to give it up just 'cause you say so.
See? There you go. That's all you need to know. So shoot them dead.
Still, we're all the Mincins here and no one wants a war. So where does that leave us? Long before you became Admiral, I heard you was captain of the League of Lost Bastards. That true? If so, you'd know how we pirates settle our differences.
A duel. Very well. As Admiral of Limsa Laminsa, I accept your challenge.
This ain't over! Not till one of us is dead! Finish the job! Or I will!
Hey, I know who that is.
It's the captain! Captain Ilfir!
Captain what?
You fool! 'Twas over afore it began.
Captain!
Seems the whelps have been yapping while their master was abed. Listen well, all of ye. Since the signing of the Galadian Accord, we all of us have been part of the same crew. The crew of the good ship Lemsa Laminsa. At the helm of that ship is the Admiral. And 'tis she who decides where we sail. Was I not clear on that point? Or did you forget whose deck you stand on? Nay? Then what in the seven hells are you playing at?
It's all we know, Captain. If we ain't pirates, what are we?
You're bloody idiots is what ye are. Idiots with your own lives ahead of ye. Ye can do anything ye want. Be anything you want.
See, he gets it. Get a job.
We're pirates, aye. And we pirates love our loot. But that ain't our first love. Our first love is the sea. The sea! And what she brings us. Freedom! So hold fast to that. Let the brine-crusted husk that stands before you now be the last of them as knew naught save out of steel. And make of yourselves a new breed of pirate! Lad, I made ye me right hand because I saw something in ye. And I still do. You have the makings of a captain. All you lack's the belief. Well now, it seems we're of one mind after all. Apologies for the misunderstanding, Admiral. We're with ye, wherever ye be headed.
You have my thanks, Hilfir.
Your choice of dueling pistol did not escape my notice. Good old Annihilator.
Ender of many a proud pirate's voyage. Mistbeard's vanished into legend, and it won't be long before I take my rest in the depths. Yet be that as it may, the old ways can only truly die when we've dealt the Empire the telling blow. There'll be stormy seas ahead, no doubt. But I'm trusting ye to steer us through to the other side.
Alright, I have newfound respect for the captain of the Bloody Executioners, because my thing is, if you refuse to change, and you're going to drag all of us down with you, then you are officially an enemy. You are a problem. And what's the fastest way to deal with a problem? You get rid of it. So that's what I would have done. But thankfully, he stepped out and he put that nonsense to bed, because something I called out, and I'm so glad they did too, when he said you can be anything you want, is that's true, because that's such a flimsy, aggravating excuse. Oh, we're pirates. All we know how to do is pillage. All we know how to do is murder. All we know how to do is rape. It just, oh, that's so aggravating. So let us do all of that. Rape, kill, and pillage. Otherwise, what are we going to do? That's, getting way too emotional here. But yeah, it's just that way of thinking really pisses me off so much. Because, like, yeah, okay, well, what's wrong with learning how to fish? Why not be a fisherman? What's wrong with learning how to build a house? Why not be a carpenter? You guys clearly have business sense. Why not be merchants? You see what I'm saying? It's such a flimsy, weak, dissatisfying, aggravating, disrespectful, lame excuse. But that's enough of that. We're finally out of that nonsense. Yeah, but you weren't raping people, were you, Alice? And then using an excuse of to keep letting me rape people, otherwise you deny me of who I am. So no, Alice, that doesn't work. That's very true. I kind of figured, worst case scenario, she would just get shot and recovered later. I knew she wouldn't die, but she didn't even get scratched, so good on her. I was concerned because she's not using her dual pistol. She's only using one. Don't know why, though, because traditionally she has two. She might have given one to somebody. There are some things in this game I just straight up don't remember because they're such small details. But some of the bigger ones I obviously can't help but remember, like everything doing with Raha. Okay, as soon as I saw Miss Beard, I was like, alright. You guys want to read that? You'll have to pause it yourself. Yeah, see, she was more than willing to do it. I'm liking you more and more. Very true. Since when? Yeah. Let's leave out the dying part, though, shall we? Alright, everyone. I guess I should say person. Still around. But it's getting late, and I have to get up early. And I won't be back for a while. I say person, but that was only because I wasn't looking. I'm the only one left. So I guess I'm talking to myself now. For who knows how long that's been going on. At any rate, for those who watch this in the future, thank you for tuning in, for bearing with me and my rants. And next time we resume this, it probably won't be till the day after tomorrow at the earliest, but we'll see. It depends on when I get back and how long I'm gone. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you around.